Oh, hello. How was your day? Uh-huh, uh-huh. Yeah, mine was decent. I like these conversations. But yes, on to the meat of the matter. It's time for another AMA, and I actually got quite a few questions. I wasn't really expecting that. I was thinking people were already tired of this stuff, but hey, surprise, surprise. The last one was largely scripted, as in I wrote down all the answers beforehand and just kind of read them out loud. This time I'm gonna read the questions in real time and get some more thought in, I suppose. I don't know, we'll see how things turn out, so let's hop on over to the comments page. We've got questions from three lovely gentlemen, so let's get right on with it. Ugh. I need to get myself together first. Whew. Ow. That was my spine. I died, probably. Call an ambulance. Jakun, or Unheard Phantasm as he was known as before. What's your favorite type of character playstyle, i.e. aerial specialist, trap user, traditional swordsman, mage, etc., in both Tales and fighting games? In Tales, I suppose strongly prefer the traditional swordsman. I think it's a really boring answer, but I think Cress in Tales of Fantasia Cross, or no, not Cross, Narikiri Dungeon Cross was one of the most fun characters I've played in a while. Maybe that just means I'm really boring. Who knows? I'm also quite a big fan of the paladin archetype, where they've got sword, shield, and then they can use some holy spells, healing, reviving, that sort of thing. So Flynn really spoke to me as well, even though he's not. He's not a very holy paladin, I suppose, but he kind of fits the Magic Knight archetype, which I'm also a big fan of. In fighting games, I don't know, I don't really play fighting games that much, but martial arts users are always cool. It's just now dawning on me that basically every single character in a fighting game is a martial arts user of some kind, so I guess I should specify. I don't know, I guess maybe boxers are pretty cool. I never played one, so I don't know. I guess I've always been a fan of kicking moves, so maybe something that emphasizes that. Can I just say bullet in Blaze Blue? It's basically that, even though it's nothing of the other things I just said. I guess remember that game exists, so yeah. Homura Maxwell asks a few questions. First being, in parentheses, if at all, when are the Star Ocean The Last Hope solos, and with what character? Some of you might be scratching your heads now going, wait, what? What's he talking about? And understandable. I had a conversation on Twitter with both, I'm just going to call him Unheard Phantasm. I'm at least sure how to pronounce that name. And Homura the other day. I think it was sometime last week. Well, yeah, of course it was sometime last week, because it's Monday today. Doi! Where we talked about solos. We were talking about Star Ocean The Last Hope mainly, and one of them jokingly asked, so when solos, der? And I said, well, sooner than you might expect, since I've actually been working on solos for that game for quite a while. I bought the game sometime last year. I think, anyway. But I never really got too far. I would have started solos for that game already if my Xbox 360 would actually want to be recorded. For whatever reason, it doesn't show up in the capture software. I've tried different HDMI cables, everything, it just doesn't work. I don't know what's up. Well, no, it shows up in the capture software. Alright, the issue is that it won't show up on the TV at the same time, and, I'm not about to play a real-time action game with a, 5-second delay. That's a bit too hardcore for me. As for what character, I don't actually have a clue myself. There's one character that leaves at one point, and in order to keep him for the entire game, you have to actually beat the game once, so you can choose to keep that character. So I'm playing through the game once in order to enable me to do that, should I wish to do so, but as for what character, I honestly can't tell you because I don't even know myself. What is your favorite color? Purple, probably. I like a nice dark purple. Pink is pretty cool too, like a dark pink. And no, I'm not just listing the colors I see in your profile picture. Those are actually two of my favorite colors. I'm quite a big fan of green as well. But I guess if I had to choose one, then purple. Who is your favorite Tales male character? Should be obvious, but I want to know either way. I don't know. I feel pressured to say Alvin because I've basically said that he's one of my favorites for so long. But the more I think about it, I don't know if that's true. I think I'm just going to say Yuri from Vesperia. He was one of my favorites. Probably my favorite main character overall. And since he happens to be a dude, I suppose it has to be him. Kind of depends on in what way they're my favorites. Yuri is my favorite from a story standpoint. But if we're talking fighting style, then definitely Alvin. So, who is your favorite Tales female character? This one totally did not occur to me because of the last question, Kappa. Pascal. Don't even need to think about that one. And the main reason for that is I played Graces and I thought it felt really gloomy. It wasn't that fun. It was fun to play, but it wasn't funny, if you know what I'm saying. It didn't feel like a Tales game. It was very, very serious. And once Pascal showed up, that changed completely. Then the game, I was like, oh, no, this is Tales. This is starting to feel like Tales up in here. So I really like the character for that reason. Then she's also really fun to play. So, do you like horror, suspense, survivalish games? Yeah, I don't play a lot of them, but I do like them. One of my favorite game series is Danganronpa. There's quite a bit of suspense and survival, and I suppose horror in there as well. So yeah, I do like them. I've played Corpse Party on the PSP, the first one, I think. Anyway, Samu's gonna crucify me if I get this wrong. I never finished it though. I think I ran into a bad ending and I had to restart the entire chapter or something like that. And I just couldn't be asked to do that, so I deleted the game from my memory card. Would you give me a high five if we met? You better say yes. I'm wondering what will happen if I say no, so at the risk of potentially losing a limb or two, I'm gonna say, yeah, absolutely. But no, in all seriousness, it would actually be really cool to get to meet some of you. It's just a shame that we all live so far from each other. Frubom asks, what was your entry or first exposure to the Tales series? This one I remember very well. It was Tales of Symphonia on the... I don't really need to specify that it was on the GameCube, but since I've already started the sentence, I guess I might commit to it now. On the GameCube. I wasn't really that... I hadn't kept up with it at all. My brother was the main, I guess, enabler in that sense. He was the one that was really keeping up with it. I think he read about it in a magazine first. Maybe he saw a trailer. I'm not entirely sure. I never really asked him. But one day he showed up with it, and we started playing. It was fun as hell, and I was just hooked since. Though I didn't actually get the game myself until like a year after I first played it. It was always my brother's copy, so I only played it every once in a while. It was never a regular thing. Then once I got it myself, goodbye free time. I think it's pretty common for European fans to have Symphonia as their first entry, since, if memory serves, that was the first Tales title to actually be released over here. So I guess it's fitting. And the second I played was Tales of Fantasia GBA, so things got real bad real fast. Favorite combat system? I'm not entirely sure. I really like the system in Innocence R, but I quite like Grace's battle system now too, that I've experimented with it a bit. Definitely not Exilia 1. Definitely not Exilia 2. Exilia 1 was actually fine before I really started noticing that boss's tech and all that. It was just a thing, you know. It didn't really occur to me that was not necessarily bad game design, since that game wasn't really focused on combos. It was more like a, beat the boss, get away, hit the boss, get away. It was more like a hit and run situation. But in Exilia 2, it's a death sentence, so Yeah. So, innocents are, probably. How did you meet some of your closer friends in the community? Unheard Phantasm, Mr. Vesperia, etc. Unheard Phantasm I first bumped into in a comment section somewhere. I can't remember where. It was probably one of Clip's videos. He was talking about his Luger practice work, and I got intrigued. I checked out his channel, and I thought the stuff I saw was really good. So I left a comment saying that, hey, we're kind of in the same boat. I'm just starting to get into Excelia 2 running as well. Just, extending my hand in greeting, like thinking it would be nice to have someone to journey alongside, I suppose. And then we just kept talking from there, and yeah, he's a cool dude. Mr. Vesperia, I think, reached out to me after I started doing my Radio Mythology playthrough. He might have subscribed before then, but I'm actually not entirely sure. But yeah, we just started talking in the comment section there. He mentioned one of his old Radio Mythology runs, and I mentioned that I'd seen that way back in the day, and then we just kind of hit it off. I started watching his runs, he started watching mine, and we got talking on Skype one day. That's how I met him. Any others? Well, Homura, of course. He was making videos under a different name early on. And I think I saw him in one of Unheard Phantasm's comments. In a comment on one of his videos, rather. And I remember being intrigued about, who's this person? He seems to be into Tales. I wonder if he's done anything. And turns out he had a bunch of Mila stuff, which I thought was really cool. Really high quality Mila stuff, too. Recorded in the same way as Unheard Phantasm, with a camera pointed at the television. So I guess that kind of made it stand out weirdly. But it was never an issue. I always thought the videos were great. So, and then we got talking. I can't really remember what we started talking about or what kicked it off. I think I left a comment saying that, I like your videos. One of those really original comments that everyone loves getting for the 50th time in a row. I think that was pretty much how we started talking anyway. No, I know that's definitely how we started talking. I'm just not entirely sure how we went from there. And lastly, I suppose there would be Samu. I think he commented on one of my Alvin videos back in the day, saying something like he was surprised that he didn't know about this channel, which is not that strange. I'm pretty quiet. And we got talking from there. That's basically all the people I can think of. I'm going to feel really bad if it turns out I've missed someone, but I think that's all of them. Yeah, it's those four primarily. Any IRL favorite activities? Music is a pretty big one. I tend to do that whenever I have some spare time. I also go to school. I went to school, rather. I just graduated. Did a 1-year course, and we did a bunch of music stuff. I'm going back to the same school, applying for a different course this time, where it's mostly playing music on stage is the focus. So that's pretty fun. I've been doing that. I've been doing music, guitar, stuff like that for how long? How old am I? This is a bad sign. I'm 21, turning 22. I've been doing this since 9th grade. So I've been doing this since I was 15. 6 or 7 years, basically. But yeah, that's basically my biggest IRL activity. Playing games too, but I don't think that really fits into the IRL thing. I'm assuming you meant like outside of gaming and Tales and stuff like that, so. And those were all the questions. Thank you very much for leaving questions, those of you who did it. And for those of you that didn't, I hope you at least enjoyed watching the video. Or listening to it, I don't know. Something like that. See, this is the problem with me. I never know how to end my videos, so... I think I'm just gonna high-five myself and then we'll call it a day.